Okay, so welcome everyone to Workforce Wednesday. You are here for teaching students how to navigate the new work in Texas. Our presenters today are Jasmine Grabowski and Victoria Hinojosa. And I'll tell you a little bit about Jasmine and Victoria in just a moment. Today is December 16th. My name is Olga Escamilla. I'm going to be your host. And I have other co-hosts and technical support. I have Anne-Marie Molinari Sanders and Ashley Winkle. So thank you, Anne-Marie and Ashley, for joining me and assisting. So at this time, I want to welcome our presenters. Our first presenter is Jasmine Grabowski, and Jasmine is passionate about serving others. She has a background in teaching and recently served with the Summer Earn and Learn program, and that's a youth program. She's a graduate of Texas State University with a BA in German and earned a job coach certification from the University of North Texas Workplace Inclusion and Sustainable Employment Program in 2019. Her goal is to continue supporting her community by helping adults and students reach their fullest potential. So welcome, Jasmine. We also have Victoria Hinojosa, and Victoria specializes in training and educating community partners, workforce solution staff, and job seekers throughout the 13-county region. She served over 8 years at Texas State University Career Services as a recruiting coordinator preparing college students for the workforce. She is a graduate of Texas State University with a BA in Mass Communication. So at this time, I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing and allow Victoria and Jasmine, take it away.
Great, thank you. Let's see, let me just pull up the presentation and we'll be ready to go. So hello everyone, I'm Victoria Hinojosa. I work for Workforce Solutions, obviously, and I'm a college navigator. And as Olga mentioned, presenting with me today is Jasmine Grabowski.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jasmine Grabowski. I'm also a college navigator for Workforce Solutions, and we are glad to be with you this afternoon.
Yes, we are. So we have an excellent webinar presentation for you on teaching students to navigate in Texas. So just to get started, we've got a couple of quiz questions or poll questions that we want to ask. So let's start with this one. Do you have a WorkInTexas account? Go ahead and tell me yes or no. Okay, the polls are coming in. This is good. This is great. All right, so yay, 57% said they do have one and 43% said they don't. So, okay. Well, hopefully we'll fix that 43% today. All right, so those of you who do have a WorkInTexas account, tell me, do you find it easy or confusing? Go ahead and answer quickly for us. Out of those who do have an account, 28% said it's easy and 72% said it's confusing. Well, you're not alone in that. Jasmine and I definitely have thought that many times in preparing for this webinar. So
yes,
hopefully we'll be able to dispel some of the confusion today and give you some really cool tips and advice on how to navigate the work in Texas. So today our objectives are to provide you with some tips to help your students register and navigate work in Texas. We're going to go over some of the essentials, and then we're going to blow your mind with some of the added features. I'm going to tell you right now, this is the most comprehensive system I have ever seen. And we'll get into that in just a second. So throughout the presentation, we're going to ask you some Texas-related trivia questions just to make it fun and keep you on your toes so that nobody falls asleep, because yeah, it is a webinar training on work in Texas, but hopefully you'll find it entertaining and greatly helpful. So let's get started. All right, so with work in Texas, the most comprehensive, it's like I said, it is the most comprehensive job database, but I don't even want to call it a job search database anymore. I really want to call it more of it's like a career exploration, career job search library system. I mean, this is the most intense thing I've ever seen. It is a combination of onetonline.org with the assessments from My Next Move and was it Texas career check, that website. It's all of that rolled up into one, plus your WRK Solutions or your Workforce Solutions website. It is amazing what's in this sucker. So, but first things first, you got to get registered. So to do that, just understand that, and when you instruct your students, understand that there is a what we call there's the basic registration information, and then there's a more robust, comprehensive background information that you need to put into WorkInTexas when you're creating your profile. This is just like an application. So, remember all the things that you tell your students you need to do. You need to gather all this information when you're applying for a job so you can fill out your application. Well, the same thing is going to apply here. You want to make sure that they have all their ID information, social security numbers, their citizenship, or their proof of citizenship, their veteran status, all that, education and employment history, dates, also contact information, references, all those things. Have them all ready to go, because like I said, there is the basic part and then there's the comprehensive part. And the more you put into WorkInTexas, the more information you give it, the more it can do for you as the job seeker. So just wanted to give you that heads up there. Okay, so when you're creating your new account, pretty easy. You go to our login page and then you just fill in, you're going to put in your username, type in your password, and then you're going to click on register, and that begins the process. So then you're going to come to this next page where you're going to scroll down and click on option 3, and you're going to create the individual profile. Then just follow the prompts and fill out all the required fields. And once you are registered, you're going to see the magic words, "What would you like to do next?" Then you're going to come over here, and this is back on the login page or the home page. Go ahead and you'll log back in, and then you'll sign in. So I'm going to invite you to log into your personal WorkInTexas account if you have one. If you don't have one, go ahead and log into WorkInTexas.com, and you can use ours. So we've created this profile especially for this class. So please take advantage of it. The username is going to be Texas Rivers. And then the password is case sensitive. So it's get a job, $, and it's capital GET @ capital J 0 lowercase b $. So you're welcome to follow along with us. That way you can kind of play around with the features that we're going to be demonstrating to you today. Okay, so go ahead and sign in, and then we're going to get started. So once you've registered, your registration is complete, you're going to see this page, and it's going to show you, ta-da, you're here. This is your dashboard. Over here on the left, you're going to see is the menu bar. So I'm going to tell you right now, there's more than one way to skin a cat in WorkInTexas. There's so many different ways to, you know how it is. It's this incredible maze. Everything just kind of comes back to you. You can search one way, you can search a different way. It's just so many features in here. So with that being said, it kind of repeats itself a few times. So you'll notice right here under my individual workspace, there's these menu options here. It's the same thing as these tabs located right above the picture. Below, you're going to find related job searches.
Victoria,
Yes.
someone said they can't get in. Is the O in the job a 0 or an O?
It's a 0.
It's a 0. Okay.
Yes. And Jasmine should have posted the information in the chat box. Maybe you could do it again just to make sure, Jasmine.
Yes, you want me to? Yeah, I could do that.
Thank you so much. Okay, so and then below, which you can't see because it's a picture, but on the website itself, you'll see that there's the job postings and then more menu options. So everything that you're going to see on the left, you'll also find below and with icons. Okay. Moving forward, one thing I want to show you under other services is this menu real quickly. If you go all the way down to Learning Center. Now this is key. This is really important, especially as instructors. There is a Learning Center that will show you a lot of information on WorkInTexas. Now there's this how-to guide here. This is a 400-page novel on how to utilize WorkInTexas. I don't recommend it. Don't worry about it. There's videos, and the videos have transcripts. So you can watch a course video if you want. There's general courses, and then there's this individual courses right here. And you can check whichever one you want to watch, and there's a transcript. So you can actually print that sucker out, make notes, use it to build a lesson plan on whatever you want to do. But there's the information right here. We've consulted this once we figured out it existed. We consulted it and found that it was really helpful, really good information. You still have this menu bar on the side, so we'll show you what to do. We're doing this from the perspective of a job seeker. Let me see. Let me flash that screen up for you one more time so you can get that information to log in. So it's TX Rivers, and then the password is capital G, lowercase e-t, @ capital J, 0, lowercase b, $.
Okay, again, so if this doesn't work, you can always go in and create an account, or if you have an account, log into your account and follow.
Okay.
Right?
So
okay.
Yes, absolutely. So real quick, you asked me for the path to find that learning center. So here is the menu on the left. So we're going to scroll down to the different sections, services for individuals. Under other services, you'll find Learning Center. And that's going to take you to that Learning Center with the videos, the how-to videos. Perfect.
And
so
where do you specifically find the videos?
right here, Learning Center.
So if you click on that,
They're right here. All of this, everything, the general courses, individual courses are all videos with the transcript. So you can look up the transcript separately, or you can read it and follow along with the video. Okay, excellent questions. All right, so let's keep going. Now we're going to get into my favorite section, which is called Career Services. Here we go. Okay, so if we go back on up here, we're going to go to Career Services. There's so much information in here. It's incredible. So career tips, real quickly, this explains to your students or to job seekers the 4 basic points of career exploration. So it's going to show them, you need to take some self-assessments. You need to check with, labor market information. Once you understand yourself, what you're good at doing and what your interests are, then you can move on to explore jobs through labor market information. And then if you need training, then explore different training providers in your area or different educational programs. And then finally, it moves into what you need to do in order to get the job. Creating your resume, looking for jobs, and preparing for the interview. So this breaks it down. So this is a really good place to start as an instructor in showing them career exploration and getting them in working in utilizing WorkInTexas. From here, you can go into Career Explorer. Okay, this is my favorite part of WorkInTexas. When I saw this, it blew my mind. I couldn't get over how I couldn't get over the fact that this existed in the job database system. I mean, this is phenomenal. So you can match your skills, and you have the choice of either matching your job skills or your personal skills. And these are lists. So they just go in, we'll look at personal skills real quickly. So you go in and you select which skills that you have. And what's really important about this is when you do this, so you've got your personal skills and it goes into complex problem solving skills, technical skills. It goes through all of this skills. And, obviously we've broken this up between hard skills, job skills, and soft skills, personal skills, or transferable skills, or power skills, whatever. So this is a good opportunity to explain what the difference is and help your students recognize what it is that they, what they're good at doing, so they can select these. The more they select and WorkInTexas, the better for them in the long run. Then WorkInTexas will help match jobs. They'll help employers seek you, find students who have those certain job skills, or I'm sorry, students or applicants or job seekers. So the more of these assessments that they can take, the better it's going to be for them, because again, this goes into their profile, and WorkInTexas builds this so it can start to shape everything around, personalize the information and tailor it to the individual profile or person. So from Career Services, let's go back to Career Explorer. Same thing with the work values. You can match your work values. It's kind of like a card game where it shows you, are you this or you that, and it helps them understand what values are important to them. And again, you can also match your values to different occupations. Going back to Career Services and then Career Explorer. The match your knowledge, tools, and technology is also, it's another list where they just go through and they select which tools and technology or knowledge they have. Now, the one that makes me just so happy is this match your work interests. So if you've ever played around with My Next Move or onetonline.org, they have that interest profiler. And this is exactly the same profiler. It's the same questions. And I've taken all those tests, so I promise you it's the exact same questions that you'd find on mynextmove.org. You can find it right here in WorkInTexas. And you just take this little quick assessment. These are the same exact questions, and you just decide, strongly like, dislike, unsure, like, or strongly like. Okay. From there, once you take the test, then let me see, go back real quickly. Here are your results. You get your views, your score report. So we call this your RIASEC score, or your Holland score. And it's the RIASEC is the acronym for all of these different work personality types. You can view the report, you can click on these, and it'll explain what the different personality types are. And then it shows you your combination and where you're highest, where you're strongest. So we're usually a combination of all of these personality types. And so this person is, this is their score here. So we're going to click on next. And now you're going to see, in just a second, here we go. Now you're going to see the results. So they can take this. This is great. So when you're working with students who really don't know what they want to do, or let's say they're ESL students who are professionals from another country, they come here, they're not really sure what they want to do next. If they can't completely get into their career choice, maybe they want to do some career exploration. Start with this interest profiler and WorkInTexas, because where WorkInTexas goes the extra mile, continues on where the other ones stop, is right here. This one shows you all of the careers based on your interests. What are the strongest career choices for you? So if it's got a gold diamond next to it, then that means this is your strongest match. And they're listed in alphabetical order. So we created this profile for someone who wants to be a nurse. And the personality, the interest turned out to be a good match for someone who wants to go into nursing. And it shows you all the different careers. And if we can always increase how many we see, and you'll see this real quickly. There we go. So we have on here, I know there's nursing, registered nurses, you have those nursing occupations, medical assistants, a lot of health professions on here, listed here. So this shows you, yes, this is a strong match. These down here, the blue is showing that it's a moderate. It's not as good of a match. You can still do it, but it's not going to be quite as fulfilling or rewarding. Now, does this mean that you're automatically qualified? Oh, no. But what it does mean is that this is a good career choice for you. So you can investigate it. So if you're interested, or what your students can do is click on one of these titles. So we'll click on medical assistance. And there you go. Now what you're seeing is the labor market information. Does this look familiar? Those of you who've ever explored ONET or My Next Move, this should look very familiar to you. So it's the same thing. It shows you it's got a video that gives you, a day in the life or a kind of an expose on what that looks like as a career choice. And then it gives you the skills, the job skills that are required. It shows you the employers in your area. So our area is Harris County or Houston. So these are the major employers that are hiring for those positions. It shows you how many job openings are available right now. It's current information. It talks about, the technology that you need to know, the different certifications. It talks about the typical wages. It talks about skills that you might need, your knowledge, all this information that you're going to need in order here's your abilities. So your personal skills that you're going to need, as well as your knowledge and your hard skills, all of this stuff right here. It's an excellent source for career exploration to help your students figure out what they want to do. So, any questions?
Yes. So this is potentially in your personal Work in Texas account. So when you come back, this information's already in there and saved, and you can just keep revisiting it, correct?
Absolutely, because you can see I've logged in. Okay, so when we logged into Career Explorer and I clicked on Match Your Work Interest, which is this one, you can see these are my saved, or this is this person's saved scores. So they'll always be here unless you change them, unless you as the person, as the profiler owner, you change your scores. This will always be here. So this will always be that same report. And so you can revisit it as many times as you want to.
Okay, and Glenda says this reminds me also of Career One Stop. This is a great resource.
Oh yeah, absolutely. This is huge. I've never seen anything like it. So for career exploration, this is phenomenal, because then again, like I said, once you get in there, you can look at the actual jobs that are available. I'll just show you one more time. And then here you go. So you can actually see live jobs right here. For licensed vocational nurses, you've got 4,606 jobs. This is incredible. And this is all as of December 15th, 2020. So it's very timely and it updates all the time. So this is current information for you right now. So I highly recommend take some time and explore that section of career exploration. Let me get back to it. Go in here and really look at all the different features, because there's more. I'm just trying to be mindful of time. Career Informer also shows you how to, it just allows people to go into that labor market information and explore different options. And Job Market Explorer, I think you could go in and you can set your criteria and explore that way. So it kind of gives you two different options here, but lots to play with and lots to work to help your students in order to make a really good decision about a career choice. Okay, now we want to get back into, we're going to go from career exploration, and now we're going to get into one more question for you.
Are you
Tell
able
me.
to share jobs with others?
Can you send it? Yeah, I think there is that possibility when you click on it. You can open it up. I think you can investigate it, and I think you can share with others. But we'll look at that in just a second. I tell you what, go ahead and let's start this poll.
So what do you think the most popular food in Texas is? Come on, Texans. So we have 27 out of 43. Come on, keep responding.
Come on, you guys. Which is your favorite? Well, I'm not going to ask you what your favorite is. What do you think is the most popular? I'm going to give you a hint. Think about football stadiums. What do you eat there?
All of that.
But I don't. Okay, keep going. Okay, go ahead. So 61% said hamburgers and fries, which is what Jasmine and I said. But the truth of the matter is the 39% that said Frito pies and corn dogs, y'all are right. Again, I'm thinking it's football stadiums. That's where, high school football games, Friday night, there you go, Frito pie and corn dogs. So anyway, moving on. So next is, we want to move into, after they've done their career exploration, the next thing to start doing is creating your resume. And so Jasmine is going to take us through the resume builder.
Yes, thank you so much. So right now we're going to talk about another great feature that is available to you in WorkInTexas, and that is the resume builder. And we definitely like this feature about WorkInTexas. All right, so we're going to go ahead and dive right on in. So there's basically 4 parts to Resume Builder to make it a little bit easier. So part 1 is basically the start screen. And what you can do here with your students is allow them to determine whether the system is going to generate for employers to review their resume and choose a desired curation method, and also create and enter their resume title. Okay, so that's basically part 1 of the resume builder. Okay, and then next is going to be part 2. This is known as a series on the page, and it's called employer searchable criteria. Okay, and this is information is very important so that employers can find job seekers, but it does not appear on the actual resume. And so that's standard for any resume creation method. That's the part 2. All right. And then we have part 3, the resume template. And so this option allows for the control of the function to appear on the resume. So it basically presents the resume a template. And then finally, part 4, what that does, it collects details of background information from your students, such as their work history, job skills that they may have. And the system presents a step-by-step wizard to help manage these 4 parts of the resume builder. So that's pretty much the beginning of it, and breaks it down into 4 easy parts to make it a little, to clarify it a little bit more. All right. And then we're going to go ahead and move to the next section. So for your students to be able to access Resume Builder, what they're going to have to do is click on the quick menu section and then scroll down to Resume Builder. And then what they're going to have to do on the next page, after they scroll down, is click on the Create New Resume button. And then they'll have the opportunity to give their resume a title. The neat thing about Resume Builder, it actually, if your students want to, they can upload up to 10 resumes on the website if that's something that they want to do. But they do need to make sure that they give each resume a title. And we highly recommend that your students don't use their name, but that they actually name the resume according to the occupation or job title that they're pursuing. Because this way they'll be matched to the jobs they're applying for basically a lot more quicker. Okay. Also, try to have your students not use personal identifiable information, such as their name, their date of birth, or anything that looks or sounds unprofessional. So definitely want to remind them not to do that. Okay, we're going to move on to the next section in the Resume Builder. So your students or job seekers will also be given a choice in how they want to create their resume. And what they're going to be able to do is have 3 options to get their resume into the system. So what they can do is they can build their resume from scratch using a comprehensive wizard. They can upload an existing resume if they already have one, but it has to be Word or PDF, or they can use a current or duplicate resume that they already have in the WorkInTexas system. But for our presentation today, we're going to discuss making one from scratch using that comprehensive wizard. All right, we're going to move on. So once your students have selected the comprehensive wizard method, they're going to start making their resume. And what they're going to do is move from page to page and fill in any necessary information. If they would like for their resume to appear in searches from employers looking to fill their positions, when they get to this box where it says, yes, my resume will be available online for employers to view, then they would go ahead and check that box if that's something that they want to do. Now, if your students do not want to do that and they don't want their resume to be visible during searches, this is where your students would select no, but the resume can still be used to apply for jobs. It just won't come up in any searches for the employers.
Okay, Jasmine, we have a question about, you had mentioned about no personal information. Were you talking about when you create a title for your resume?
No, not on the title. Well, yeah, for the title, they don't want to put their name. So we recommend for the title of the resume, if they what they want to do is, what I'm trying to say is, they should use the position that they are applying for, like the occupation, and not use their name on the title of the resume.
Right.
Is that what she's asking?
I think so.
Yes.
Okay.
Should the personal resume upload not have personal information?
Well, the resume should, of course, but the title, just to keep it professional, we're suggesting that you just keep the title like registered nurse or bookkeeping resume, something along those lines. Try not to put, because you're uploading it, employers are searching it, they're going to see it. You just don't want to give out too much personal information. Just keep it really professional. And also, when you have it, when you've got multiple resumes saved in WorkInTexas, the idea is just to be able to grab the right resume and send it.
I see. So there's a question that says, will the individual be able to go back at a later time to choose to have their resume available online for employers to view?
Yes. Yeah. You can go back and change that option. You can hide it. So you could select, yes, absolutely. You have that option and you can go back and change it anytime. And we'll get into that in a little bit more.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you guys for your questions. Okay. So so Resume Builder definitely has a lot of things that you can do in there. And so we're actually going to explain some more information. There's going to be 3 more pages that job seekers can fill out. And on that section, they can choose their location. Okay. So if you want to if you want to look for jobs in Houston, Galveston, Lake Jackson, Katy, etc., they can do that. And so what your students will need to do is select the occupation they're looking for, and then also the salary that they're interested in, that they want to receive. And if your students need help deciding on salary, they can also pull up labor market information, which we thought was really neat. They can look up labor market information for Texas on the Labor Market Services menu tab. And that is available when they're creating their resume builder. Another thing that they can do is create their desired job by clicking the tab called Add New Profile Link. And they can actually indicate if they want to work full-time, part-time, days, if they're willing to travel for their job, and if they're willing to relocate. So all that can be done in Resume Builder. Another thing that's going to happen is they will be asked their driver's license information, transportation questions. Also, they're going to be asked if they have security clearances or if they speak any foreign languages. So they're going to be asked an extensive amount of questions in Resume Builder for sure. Okay. Okay. So the next section I want to talk about pertaining to Resume Builder is the resume templates. Okay. So as they continue to fill out their information, they will be they're going to be brought to the resume templates page, is what I'm trying to say, and they're going to have a few options. So what they can do is they can choose to use an existing template, or they can create a new template. If they choose to use an existing template, they'll have to select a template and modify its format, and then they'll have to click Save. But if your students do not have one on file or would just like to create one, then what they're going to do is click on New Template. And that's at the bottom of the page. And Victoria just pointed it out with the little red arrow there. The next thing we're going to talk about is still on the topic of resume templates. On the next section there, once they're still filling out their resume template information, there's going to be a section where they can opt to include their template. And then there's going to be 3 more pages where job seekers will enter their education and training history. And again, back to the topic of salary, specify whether employers may view salary history and also reason for leaving former jobs by checking the box at the bottom of the page. Another thing that they're going to be able to do is your students can modify their job skills and technical skills, as well as any tools they are familiar with on the next 2 pages. Just keep in mind, try not to select all as they go along, because we do recommend rather that they go through each section one by one. And then another thing is that there's going to be keywords that will match the job postings as well to increase visibility when employers search for candidates. Another thing what I was going to say was if they can't do it all in one sitting, it should definitely save all of their information. So if they need to, get up and come back to it, it definitely should save all of their information in Resume Builder. Did you want to add something, Victoria, about the?
I was going to say, and if you don't finish it and you have to walk away and come back, the next time you log back into WorkInTexas, it'll tell you right there front and center, hey, you need to finish your resume. I mean, it won't let you forget. That's for sure.
Right. That makes sense. All right. We have some more information on the resume template. They're also going to be asked to enter their ability summary, their objective, and if they have received any honors, if they participate in any activities, if they would like to enter any additional information that they feel is relevant to their job search, they can do all of that there. You want to remind them also to include contact information and specify which contacts they want to appear on their resume, is what I'm trying to say. And again, what they'll do is check the box at the bottom of the page. And they'll also have the option of keeping their references on their resume, or if they just want them to be available on request, again, they'd have to check that box at the bottom.
So there is a question. Does it offer an option to download in case you want to print?
Yes. It's going to actually have the option of if you want to print your resume, if you want to delete it, if you want to just save it. It does allow you to do all of those things for sure. That's a great question. Okay, so back to the resume template. Okay, no, I've already told you guys about that. You can opt out if you want to have the references displayed or not. Yeah, I've already stated that point. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and move on along to resume review. All right. So once they're done, they need to click finish. And then this is where they're going to be brought to a list of resumes that they've done. And again, they can make modifications by simply clicking on the underlined section heading. Yeah. So that's indicated on the screen for your convenience. Another cool thing that your students can do is they can score their resume. So basically what it does is it compares the resume to the occupations in the job posting, and then they'll be provided a score by clicking on the Score Now tab. And again, that's indicated on the screen. Kind of like Job Scan. If you guys have heard of Job Scan, that's basically a very similar process.
Yeah, and the beauty about this is that, again, when we know that employers run resumes through the automated system, whatever that thing is called, and they're looking for keywords. So the idea is to help your students create enough keywords that their resume matches the job description so that they'll get selected. So it's a great feature.
All right. Thank you, Victoria. So again, if they need to make any modifications, there is a section called Edit Template. That's what I'm trying to say. So they can make any modifications there. And as the young lady just asked about making printing the resume, yes, you can. You can print it, copy it, and email it. You can also email the resume. And that is also located at the bottom of the page for your convenience. All righty. So now we are coming to a poll question. All righty. On average, what is the thing that Americans do 22 times a day? Open the fridge or check their cell phone? Okay, poll's going. Well, looks like most of you guys are saying check their cell phone, but it was actually open the fridge. People open their fridge at least 22 times a day. That is interesting. I definitely thought it was checking cell phones.
Yeah,
But people probably do that more.
Yeah, now that COVID's happened, I'm sure people are checking that fridge a lot more often than they used to.
Right, exactly. Okay, so let's move on to the next section. Okay. No, we are getting close to the end of time, so I just want to go over a couple of more things with you guys. Job search. Okay, so when you are in the job search from the quick menu, you will be able to do an extensive job search from the quick menu, okay, for those of your students who are seeking employment. And what WorkInTexas does, it allows your students to complete a job search based on their like and interest. And what I'm trying to say is they could even find job listings based on employment history, desired occupation, associated job skills, and more. And again, we mentioned that earlier, but it's very easy. Quick menu, and then from the drop-down menu, just have them click on job search to do that. Oh, and another interesting thing is they can also search for jobs by geographical area, which we kind of touched on earlier a little bit. So they have the option of searching by county, city, zip code, workforce board, and more. And all your students will have to do is choose their area selection. And once they've done that, they will be asked their area type. For today, we're going to do area type using a city search. And that is indicated on the screen as well. So that's something that they can definitely do if they're looking, to jobs in Houston or Austin or what have you. So it's some really, really neat stuff in here. And actually, there's 7 different methods of viewing available job openings. But we are going to focus on the ones that are most important today. Again, that quick search menu allows you to search search for jobs by keyword. As we know that this is one of the most common searches that's used when job seekers are looking for employment. And right now we're going to, like I said, go over the ones that we thought were most important. So one of the ones that we thought was very interesting was the Advanced tab, which is one of the 7 job search methods. And it actually allows your job seekers or students to search for state jobs. So for example, if you have some students that are looking for nursing jobs, they would simply enter nursing under where it says state job classification to conduct their search. And again, that's indicated on the screen for your convenience. The next one we thought was very interesting was that education tab. So that's another method that they can use. And here they can search for a job by program. And this is great for job seekers or graduates that don't have a lot of experience. So they can use this, and What it'll do is let them choose an educational program, an education level that matches their skills, experiences, and education to search for those openings. So for example, let's select a program, and then you have multiple ways to choose a program. The easiest way to do that is to use that keyword search and type in the program type. Okay. And so for example, we're going to type in nursing, which is already there, and see what pulls up. And there is a long list of nursing programs. So what we did was we are going to go ahead and choose the first one, adult health nurse. Okay, right there. And now we see the next step is to choose your education level, and we're going to type an associate's degree, and it's right there with the red arrow for you. And we want to thank Victoria for working that screen for us.
You're welcome.
All right, and then there's your results. So it's pretty neat. There's a lot of things that you can do in WorkInTexas. So job search results. Now we're going to talk about some other tidbits here. So once your students have navigated the appropriate tab and filled out all their information, they can narrow their search by viewing the details or summary of their search results. All right, there at the top. Okay. And also what's neat is they're going to be provided a percentage to verify if they match with those general job requirements, which is also really interesting. And finally, they have the option of changing their job search criteria or saving the actual search, and then it actually allows them to create a virtual recruiter.
Okay, so it looks like we're about out of time. There's so much here. We could go on and on this forever because there's just so much information on WorkInTexas. But we'll give you, just real quick, I'm going to give you a quick little. So one more thing I want to show you that was really cool is this job seeker services. If you want a good lesson plan, you've got 10 steps for job seekers. This goes through everything. You can take this, and I would go through this yourselves as instructors and look at this as an opportunity to kind of not only see, it takes you through the career exploration, it takes you through all the different steps, and it's got the links to visit the different features here in WorkInTexas. So this is a great place to start. And the way to do it, again, is to go under Services for Individuals, go to Job Seekers, look at 10 steps. We talked about Resume Builder. There's also a Letter Builder. This will help your students actually create letters. What is it? You could select the template for...
Like a letter of interest?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Thank
Letter
you.
of application.
Your cover letter. Yeah, letter of interest, cover letter. Then you have your follow-up letter, your thank you letter, and then there's even a template for acceptance letter. And then look at this. You even get a list of action verbs that you can use to modify the template. So you can insert, I didn't insert it, but you can insert the template. It'll populate here, and then you can change it and fix it to suit your needs. And then you have a list of action verbs here. So this is really cool. I've never seen that before. That's awesome. And then also the virtual recruiter. We talked briefly about it. Anytime you do a search and you save it, it gives you an option to name that search, save it, and it becomes an automated search, and then the system will search for you. The last thing I want to show you real quickly is under Education Services. This is another great tab. So the big three that we've talked about is Career Services, Job Seeker Services, and Education Services. So real quick, this gives you a list of training providers, training education programs in your local areas. This gives you a list of financial aid resources. You can send your students right here to apply for financial aid through Texas or through the federal programs. You also have student loans and federal loans right here. So that's a huge one. And then the other one, this is another one that I absolutely fell in love with, online learning resources. So we all know about Coursera, but there's Allison, and Allison I always thought was just simply for like training on software, but it's so much more than that. You can learn foreign languages in this sucker. I mean, look at this. Anybody want to learn Swedish? Well, you can. You want to learn Chinese? You can do that too. Look at this. This is incredible. It is free. You're probably going to have to pay for the certificate for it, but you could do it. Like basic Chinese for restaurants and hotels. Who knew? You could get a map, you could get a nursing degree in this sucker. I mean, there's so much information here. You want to learn how to do programming, software development, or IT programming? It's all there. It's incredible. So, huge bonus in this. Again, we're out of time, and I'm so sorry because there's so much more to talk about here. But there's so many things. I would just take some time, spend like 10 minutes exploring any of these features here. The ones that I really would start with, again, career services, job seeker services, education services. Start with those. And then you could create all kinds of lesson plans for career exploration and job searching through these, like that 10 steps, or like the career services, your career tips, and then the assessments. Lots to play with just right here in those three. So we want to thank you for your time. And if you have any questions, oh golly, we should have a part 2. Yeah, we could do that. Lord knows we've spent a lot of time on this. So yeah, but if you have any questions, please let us know and have fun playing with it. I'm telling you, this is, once you get past the trauma of all the information, you're going to find that this is really a cool website. It doesn't look like we have any questions, but thank you for your time. And
Thank you. Thank you so much, Victoria and Jasmine. Great information. And I hope that you will go out there
sign up if you don't have one.
Yeah, get an account, or yeah, take your students through all these new features, because it's a lot of great resources here. And I thought it was just job search, and look at all of the resources that we have. So thank you again, Victoria and Jasmine, for sharing all of this with us, and please take some time to go out there and
try it.
try
Yeah.
the site. Yeah, thank you,
Absolutely.
Thank
everybody.
y'all.